Hi, this is Farrell, and welcome to page 19, issue 2 of Robot Todd. And here you can see I'm doing my little warm-up drawing that I do for these videos, or I actually do them just to do them, but I got the idea as I was drawing them one time, I was like, oh, I should put the title of each page on here for the video, so that's what I'm doing. For some reason, I think I was just kind of out to lunch when I was putting this page together, but it took me a little while to get started on this one, even though I knew it was going to be a splash page and basically just a revisiting the splash page that I did in the first issue of Robot Todd getting pulled apart. This is the same character kind of doing him in here. The wizard was like in her corporeal form the first time, and now it's like the ghost. That's Todd's only weakness, pretty much, is ghosts. And she, on the last page, page 18, we saw that she stuck her hand through Todd, and he got like zapped. And in this one, I wanted him be breaking apart and stuff. So the penciling took me a few sessions, maybe like 3 nights worth. Like I try to do like an hour a night on these. And that's probably like the second session there, rough session. I used a compass, put a hole in the middle of the page, which I'm going to have to like Photoshop out. But yeah, I used one of those I haven't used those very much, except kind of recently. I'd used one, I mean, in the past, like, I don't know, like 10 years or something. Like I haven't really touched them at all, but maybe like a few weeks ago I used one on a page, and I just used one for this page because I thought, oh yeah, that they're gonna have these like concentric circles coming out of him, or coming out of the middle of the page, to kind of show like him getting zapped. And yeah, then it was just a matter of kind of freestyling. Like, I didn't really use any reference or anything other than looking at some old pages of the wizard, the East Wizard, and the page where he's getting pulled apart. You can see both pages there on the left, the cover, or not anymore, but you could a second ago. So yeah, then I was just, just penciling here. I use like an automatic pencil for the pencils, and I have all my supplies listed in the description, as I've stated in previous videos. Oh yeah, I kind of wanted it to feel the same as that first splash page, in that he's kind of getting messed up, like his systems are getting fried and whatever. But I also wanted there to be, some little differences here and there. Like I added these like sort of like Kirby Crackle stuff. I think at this point that I was drawing it, I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted the sort of the energy, lightning, whatever it is that's emanating from him to be. I was thinking it was going to be that pink, but I guess the hardest or most difficult, or challenging, I should say, part of the drawing aspect was I knew that this ghost, I wanted it on the next page to be shrunken down. Like, it not only messed Todd up, but it also messed the ghost up, or it like diminished its proportions. And then I actually wrote that on the bottom, diminished dimensions. And I was like, oh cool, I came up with something neat. And then I looked it up on the internet, and it's like, oh, there's a bunch of things that say diminished dimensions, like musical thing or something. But yeah, here I'm inking the page with a Faber-Castell Pitt pen, and I wanted to ink, I usually just ink the foreground characters with the pen, but on this one I was, leaving the ghost alone, or just leaving the ghost penciled. But yeah, the hardest part in the drawing, as I was saying a minute ago, was that I guess kind of differentiating, making it different, making it look different between the ghost and the Robot Todd, because I knew that I wanted this ghost to be shrinking down. So I'll draw like 3 or 4 different versions of it, to kind of show the motion of it shrinking, and kind of give it different facial expressions, like what's going on. but it kind of got lost in there. It was like kind of hard for me to figure out which is what. You know, I knew that I was going to separate it some with color, and here you can see I just started the painting process, and so I started, I think, with a ghost, where I was just like, okay, first I want to figure out where she's at, and to kind of have her, and I probably should have just done the background first, because I think this took me a lot longer. I ended up spending all day today painting on it, and usually I can get one of these done if I do like an hour a night, get it done in a week. And that's counting like thumbnailing it and making one of these videos and putting it up on my Patreon and all that stuff. I feel like normally can do that in like a week. Sometimes it takes me a little longer, but this one I knew by Friday that I probably wasn't going to get it done in time. So Saturday I worked a little more on it, and then today is just Sunday. I ended up spending pretty much all day working on it, and so here you can see I'm like going in and erasing a lot of the pencils. And then I think one of the reasons the coloring part took me so long. Coloring doesn't usually take that long for me. That's like pretty much the fastest part of the process. Normally pencils take me longer. This one, it was kind of the opposite. I think because I laid down this gray in gouache, and it was really hard to get like an even tone, because I was looking at this old page and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to do a gray background and maybe do these different subtle variations of gray, which worked for that other one, I think, because it was just a flat plane of like Payne's gray, and the white against the gray kind of popped. But this, because I have like this sort of light colored blue ghost, it's kind of almost, it's like white and blue, against Robot Todd, who's pretty much, white, with some gray highlights. And doing the background gray and blue like that, I just felt like there's too much stuff that got lost in there. So I went ahead and just painted the whole background, and then was looking at it and was like, that doesn't really do it for me, So then I got the idea of like, well, I think I just need to darken some of these concentric circles. I just need to darken up. So I at first started just kind of doing them a little darker gray, and then it wasn't quite looking the way I wanted it to. So then I just at some point decided, like, I'm just going to ink these black and just make them black. And it's kind of looks like a target, which I don't mind that too much. I just was, it wasn't, I guess, what I originally had in mind. And then I was thinking all these little balls or little wires and circuitry and stuff that's popping out of them. I kind of started turning it into like some Kirby crackle type things, where I started making a lot of them black too. And I felt like that really kind of pulled the page together, or helped, tie everything together and made it look like more finished. I just wasn't feeling finished before, but I felt like after doing that work on it today, which is pretty much what I did all day today, was like just trying to tighten it up and add this black and kind of refine it. And it was easier too for me to get like kind of crisper lines and separate the different characters from each other, and separate the objects in the background a little better by using the ink over the watercolors, which normally I'd ink first and then watercolor. And here it was just kind of like I was inking with a brush on top of the watercolor. And then as I was doing it too, I've been using these T.S. Eliot lines a little bit in my work. I saw that movie Oppenheimer, and he was reading The Wasteland. And so then I started reading The Wasteland, and I saw this line, I will show you Fear and a Handful of Dust. And I'm like, oh, that kind of fits. There's my cat. It kind of fits the image too. It just felt right to kind of put that in there, because he was kind of quoting the proof rock earlier. So that's the finish there. I have, I want to tell you about this Monster-esque book that So Friends and I are putting out. There's only 6 days left for the crowdfunder, so go to the link in the description if you want to get one of these. It's 64 pages of art. Monsters, we each drew our different take on a different monster. And it's going to be premiering at the Permanent Damage show this weekend. I have a Patreon. Thanks for watching the video. I'll see you soon.